Hello and good morn to all monsters, ministers, and maidens. Welcome! As it's our first day here at the School of Mensis, I thought I'd share with you some tips I have for those just starting out in Bloodborne. While I'm no god at Soulsborne, I like to think I'm rather good at the game, and while these tips won't make you a master at it, they will help you get an edge while you learn and may even help you survive long enough to become a real beast hunter. By the way, I tried my best not to include any spoilers from the game, but be aware that there will be footage of some of the boss fights. Albeit short clips, these will be minor spoilers for those that haven't played and have lived under a rock since its release. Seriously, do I even need to put a spoiler warning up? The game's at least half a decade old at this point. Oh well. Without further ado, let's jump in with the first and probably the best tip to know: be aggressive. Bloodborne is a very different beast than the Souls games. In Dark Souls, oftentimes a more passive playstyle is encouraged. It pays to play cautiously and wait for an opening. In Bloodborne, the exact opposite is true. The game is played at a much faster pace. Weapons swing faster, the dodge is quicker and more responsive, and many of the enemies move like sugar-addled squirrels on espresso. A much more aggressive playstyle is encouraged in Bloodborne. You never want to just be standing around. You always want to be doing something. This could be buffing your weapon, healing, attacking, or just waiting for the parry moment. Just always be doing something. On top of being aggressive, it's always a good idea to learn your weapon's moveset. Every weapon has a unique moveset. While many weapons may be similar in design or use, each one is unique in its attack speed and movement, and each one has a unique transformed moveset. A good first step to becoming more aggressive is to first know your weapon, from the humble R1 to the devastating charged R2 to the mysterious mid-attack L1. If you know how to use it, you can unleash devastating combos that will leave your enemies dead or very close to it. Not only that, but you can extend those combos and make them even more deadly by using the transforming attack. It's no secret that hitting L1 will transform your weapon and change its attacks, whether this change be a different damage type, a new moveset, or an added advantage of some sort. But what many players tend to skim over is the transforming attack. Pressing L1 in the middle of an attack will transform your weapon while attacking at the same time. This is a literal game changer right here. Learning to use this transforming attack allows you to string together a combo using moves from both weapon states. It can upgrade your combos from dangerous to downright devastating if used intelligently. Seriously, I suggest you go try it out. Once you do, you will never go back to your old ways. Trust me. While you're out there slashing and hacking, remember to take the time to learn enemy attack patterns. Are you tired of dying? Sick of not knowing when to attack? Running out of stamina because you don't know when to dodge? Well then, this tip is for you! Not sure what I'm selling you, but there you go. Have it. Take it. It's free for the first month. You see, every enemy has a set attack pattern, which is the set of attacks they can perform at any given moment depending on many different constraints. Taking the time to learn how an enemy attacks will make your journey easier. Meanwhile, learning to parry is a must. Parrying is an absolutely essential skill in Bloodborne and all of the Souls games, and is one of the most reliable methods of dealing damage. And it's even easier in Bloodborne. All you have to do is just pull the trigger in the middle of an enemy attack. Quite literally, it's just shoot them in the face while they're attacking. Doesn't work on some bosses, but most enemies, it's all about just shooting them. Learning to utilize this will make the game much, much easier. And on that subject, sacrificing health for more bullets is also a very useful mechanic, especially if you tend to rely on parries a lot like I do. By giving up a little bit of health, around 30% I believe, you can give yourself 5 extra bullets at any time. This is particularly useful when you are running low or are completely out of bullets. Of course, when you do start running low, that means it's time to grind, grind, grind. Let me just take a step back and be real with you here. I get it. No one likes grinding. It's boring, repetitive, and it's not very entertaining to kill the same enemies over and over. However, it's a reliable way to get more resources, especially when you're just starting out. For instance, the guys with the guns, the riflemen, they always drop quicksilver bullets. Brick trolls almost always drop blood vials, as do many of the enemies in the world. Grinding these enemies is a great way to stock up on the most basic and critical resources. And while you're grinding, it's often a good idea to stray from that old familiar path and do some good old exploring. The world of Bloodborne is large and disturbingly beautiful, and in its twisted shadows one can find all manner of secrets. Straying from the beaten path often leads to the discovery of useful and interesting items, and oftentimes they can be an absolute necessity. While I won't go into detail, I will say that there are several bosses in the first 2 or 3 areas of the games that can be made easier with certain items you can find throughout the early game. But these items won't just be lying in hard-to-miss conspicuous locations. You have to go out looking for them. It can be dangerous. But exploring is always rewarding. Of course, what's the point in exploring if you don't use the items you find? Many hunters have a bad habit of stockpiling the items they find. They believe they will need them later on for a more challenging boss or enemy, but before they know it, they're fighting the final boss and they've yet to use their well-earned boons. I have to admit, I'm often guilty of this myself. I'll save up and stockpile these items until the end of time. But I say, use what you get from exploring. That includes your blood echoes. Whenever you return to the Hunter's Dream, it's always a good idea to spend your echoes. You never know what could be lurking around the next corner. You never know when gravity may decide to dig you over, or when the game may turn up the heat and have a group stun lock you into oblivion. Yes, that's happened. It's happened to me. Tough times. It's always best to spend those echoes, so you don't run the risk of losing them. Buy items you need, like bullets or vials, or better yet, level your character up. But when you do level up, keep one rule in mind. Strength or skill. Not both. While it may be tempting to level both strength and skill at the same time, you must resist and choose one or the other. The sad truth is that a jack of all trades just lowers your damage in the endgame. A jack of all trades is master of none. And while you may be able to use more weapons, none of them will have very impressive damage numbers. Choose one or the other, and you'll be much happier. And that leads to the final and most important tip I can give you. Just have fun with it. The Soulsborne games can be extremely challenging and difficult, but they can also be some of the most entertaining and fun games to play. Sure, it can be frustrating to die and lose progress, but if you have fun with it, what was once a challenging, frustrating experience can become a fun-filled journey. So just take your time and enjoy yourself. Well, that looks like all the time I have for this lecture. I want to thank you all for sitting in on this Bloodborne tips video, and I hope it helped you to start out and become a better hunter in Bloodborne, because it's a great game and you should really give it your all. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you later. Have a good one. Thank you all for sitting in on another Mensis lecture. If this great one's wisdom helped you to gain a bit of insight, consider hitting that subscribe button down below to enroll at the illustrious School of Mensis and join us in communion. Don't forget to hit that bell icon to be notified when any new insights are found, and I will see you for the next lesson. Class dismissed.